Good morning. We're Group 11, composed by Pedro Aquino, Nicole Barros, Eduardo Ribas, and Amanda Pereira. And today we're going to be studying about color psychology and its influence on consumer behavior. More specifically, we're going to be studying about e-commerce, like how different kinds of colors can influence the revenue of different companies on e-commerce. Now, what leads us to study this? We can see that more than 40% of Brazilians nowadays shop online, and 7 out of 10 of these 40% of Brazilians regularly use e-commerce to buy products. We expect also a considerable increase on online purchasing and the revenue of companies of e-commerce during the next 5 years of 17% every single year, more specifically. We can also see that unlike in physical stores where we can use sound, smells, and other different types of strategies to merge the consumer and brand concepts, in online stores it has more to do with the design of the website, and it has more to do with the visual aspect of the thing. So that's why it's going to be more beneficial for us to analyze e-commerce rather than just shop in physical stores. Looking at the past research, we can see that the two colors that we're going to use in our study, which are red and black, they have different meanings. The first one, which is red, it has more to do with youthfulness and an energetic state of mind, and black has more to do with power and luxury goods. So all these different characteristics, they can affect revenues of different companies depending on which color they choose. However, we're not going to be analyzing this. The past studies were they focused more on schema, saturation levels, and colors themselves. But right now we're going to be studying the interaction of different kinds of colors. And for example, if you have a different color of the layout and the shirt, does that make a difference on the intention of consumers of buying the products? We have our three hypotheses. The first one, the two first ones, which is the H1A and H1B, they refer to the perceived price and the probability of recommendation. These are two of the dependent variables that we're going to use to determine if the websites with different colors of layouts and terms are actually going to perform better. And the third one has to do with buying intention. We're going to call this hypothesis H2, which is also a good thing to represent if it's actually going to perform better. So now we did a questionnaire composed of three different parts. The first one had to do with e-commerce and consumer habits, in which we asked the participants the frequency in which they visited online stores. The second part, we actually tested our three hypotheses, and these were our three different dependent variables. And the third one, we analyzed our demographic, like age, gender, income, and city. Our project design, we did a between study in which there were 9 possible different situations in which each participant could take part. We used 3 different colors, red, black, and white too. And we had one of these colors was to determine the layout, and the other one was to determine the color of the shirt of the participants. So we did 5 experimental procedures during our study. The first one was the random allocation of individuals. The second and third one was the cluster and factor analysis, in which we found that we didn't need to separate people in groups to obtain more accurate estimates. And the fourth one was the attention check, in which we asked the participants if the colors, which were the colors of their quizzes. And the fifth one was that we didn't mention colors at all to the participants. So all this is going to guarantee us trustworthy results. Our results analysis, as we can see, we had a sample of 208 participants, which was relatively high. And we could confirm our first hypothesis, but we couldn't the second and the third one. But when we confirmed our first hypothesis, it had more to do with red t-shirts and white layouts and red t-shirts and black layouts. It was really specific. It hadn't much to do with like the whole picture, like every single situation that was possible. So it's not a big win for us, I wouldn't say. So we can conclude through all this that there is a strong preference of the participants for the color red. We could see that through our research. And also that the interaction between layout and product was mostly irrelevant in our study. But we can see that because most of the models shown on a quizzes for females, there might have been an identification bias, and therefore we recommend for future research a greater variety of products and a greater variety of genders and races, so that we can obtain more accurate estimates.